Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Hot Toys MMS 305 of Maria Hill from the Avengers Age of Ultron. As you can see, it is a Sideshow exclusive here in North America. This was a summer toy fair release or something like that over in Hong Kong. And in order to get it over here, you have to go through Sideshow. Now for the package, very similar to a lot of the other Age of Ultron packages, you got the nice image here of Maria Hill on the back. You got the A kind of right here. One thing that does stand out though is actually the way that her hair is. That's very different than how the actual figure is done. But we'll touch on that here in a little bit. You come around here to the side, you got Maria Hill in this nice silver foil. On the opposite side, you just have the SHIELD logo. On the back, you have the warning and various contact information. And then again, much like all the other ones, it is a slip package. So you just slide it up, and here you have the clamshell and open package that allows you to see the figure within. Now, she doesn't come with a heck of a lot of stuff, but this is honestly a figure that I really never thought that we would get. While she is kind of a major character in the whole franchise. I mean, she's actually been around longer than Agent Coulson, and we got a figure for him, but just for some reason, I really never thought that we would get her. But I'm actually really very happy with it. Again, on the side, you got the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. logo. On the back, you have the cast and crew responsible for making the figure, and then Maria Hill right there on the side. And then you can kind of see that it actually has a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo on the back of the package itself. But for the packaging, that's about it for her. So without further ado, let's get her out here and see how cool she actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Maria Hill opened up and out of her packaging. And like I talked about initially, she really does not come with a lot of stuff. So starting off first with her accessories, in addition to the two relaxed hands that are currently on the figure, she also comes with a right and left hand that are designed to hold her other accessories. As you can see, she's got a right hand here that's kind of sculpted with a trigger finger, and this one's more of a kind of open grasp, which will come in handy to hold her walkie-talkie later on. But you do have those two, and then you have two closed fists, both right and left hand, and then you also do get the smaller extra wrist peg. So you do have those. She does come with a walkie-talkie, which you can see fits really good with, like I said, her other hand here. You just kind of wedge that in there like so. One thing that is really interesting is that her fingers are very soft. Now, I don't necessarily know if they did that on purpose, but you can see in a lot of the promotional images that she can be posed with her hands crossed or her arms crossed. And this hand really comes in handy with that because you can actually take the fingers and you can see, stretch those out. Now, I don't know how well that will hold up over time, but it's definitely a nice option. So that hand is designed for this walkie-talkie. You get some nice paint detail on there. You can come around here. The actual clip here on the back can be spread out a little bit. I got to use this little knife here. You can kind of wedge that in there, and I'm going to go very carefully to show you this. But you need a kind of edged surface to wedge in there, and you can kind of see, I don't know how well you can actually see that, you can actually see it can separate from there. So if you wanted to, you could probably clip it on her belt. I really don't care. I think it looks better in her hand. And then she does come with a gun. You can see that it does have this spring-loaded action right up here, and then this is hard to always get out, but it does have there we go, a magazine that you can just slide right up just like so. And then she does have a holster here on the lower portion of her belt, which hangs down here on her thigh area, but you can put it right there just like so. She also does come with a earpiece. Taking this out, one thing that is a little bit unfortunate is this is meant to go with the Age of Ultron figures, but this piece right here really does not, and I don't know how well that's going to come across because it's so tiny, but it really does not have that Age of Ultron look to it. Getting her out of the way so it actually focuses. This is exactly what the very first the earpiece was. I think Nick Fury came with one, and I want to say maybe Agent Coulson came with one. This is not the more modern looking one, and that's a little unfortunate and really not all that accurate to what she used in the Age of Ultron. So that's kind of unfortunate, but I mean, you do still get it, but like I said, it is the exact same piece that we got previously. And then all you do is you come around here, you got a little bit of a divot right here in her ear, and then you just fix that in there and it kind of pegs in, and you have that right there. And like I said, It's cool looking. It doesn't really stay in there all that well, to be totally honest with you. But it doesn't really have that full accuracy to it. I mean, you still have that kind of look, which is neat, but that's really more of a original Avengers look. And then just setting her off to the side right here. In addition to all that, you do get the Avengers Age of Ultron display stand with Maria Hill. Again, it's this wider, large base stand with the adjustable cradle. Again, I've talked about this before. I wish that if they're going to include this, I wish that they would also include one that you could just take this and plug this into that smaller, more oval-shaped one. It just takes up less space, and while I still think that these look terrific, I'm just all about space saving. So if they would include just, you know, one of those round pieces, you don't even have to include the extra pillar, just a round piece that can plug into, that would be perfect. But that's it. That's all she comes with in terms of her accessories. So very, very light in terms of those extra pieces. And that's probably going to turn some people off. The other thing that might turn people off, and kind of puts me off as well, is the actual face sculpt. Now, I don't think it's a bad representation of the actress that plays Maria Hill. But honestly, though, I don't get an Age of Ultron look to it. Now, if you remember from Age of Ultron, her hair wasn't really done up in this bun kind of thing, and then it had more of her bangs down in front of her face. This really does have more of that Captain America Winter Soldier sort of look, which honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they originally intended for this figure to come out with the Winter Soldier. It's not the first time that that's happened. If you remember, Loki originally was going to come out with, you know, the first Avenger movie, and then, I'm sorry, the first Thor movie, and then was put on hold and released with the Avenger film. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that that's what they did with this. But for me, I really wish that they did more of that accurate Age of Ultron kind of look. I think it looks a little bit better. Also, I think that her jawline here is a little bit too square. I think it should be a little bit more triangle. Now, when you angle it down like that, it actually looks pretty good. So I guess this is one of those figures that definitely has a, depending on the angle that you look at it, and it looks better kind of feel, which kind of stinks because I wish that it was good from every angle. But you can see in terms of the outfit, it does have a very nice, that kind of shield look. You got the blue color, you got these nice black straps on here. Both sides have the shield logo. This one here has this kind of the striped pattern. This side here doesn't, but you can see coming around here, you got some nice detail coming down. You do have the belt with the holster down here, like I said, and then those black stripes come down here. It has kind of a denim-y sort of feel, so it's not as elastic as some of the other suits. I mean, it does have some stretch to it, but it doesn't have a ton of stretch. And then you come down here to the boots, and some people may complain about this because it really does limit the articulation. All you can really do is rotate it. These ankles are not moving really anywhere, so you're just gonna get a stance like that, probably not having her arms all the way out like that, looking derpy. But her boots definitely do hinder her articulation. So speaking about that, you can see that the upper part of her head is on a ball joint, so you get a nice range of motion there. She does have, I'm going to unzip this down, she does have a black shirt underneath, which looks good, but you also have a softer body here for her torso, and you can see that her neck down at the bottom section also does move forward, so you get a nice range of motion there, which looks really very good. And then bringing this back up just to not look all pervy with it. The shoulders move forward, they move back. They can rotate all the way around, but as you do it, you do have to rotate her suit so you can get her arms all the way up like so. Again, you just have to rotate the suit as it moves. It moves in and out. She does have a, I guess, shoulder pivot. She can rotate at the upper part of the arm. She's got two joints here at the actual elbow. So again, you can really create that pose where, you know, maybe you put her hands like this, and then this bends. Let's see if I can actually recreate it. Get that tucked under there, like so. And I'm not, well, no, it's actually coming together pretty good. Again, the stretchy nature of her fingers really actually kind of helps in getting some of these kind of poses. So something like that, I guess, you guys know I'm not good at posing things, but you can get something kind of like that, which actually, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, you could probably futz with it a little bit more and get a better kind of look for it. And like I said, this hand probably would work a little bit better because it can actually grip around her bicep, I guess, but this other hand here works pretty good. So you get a real good level of articulation here with the elbows. The wrists do rotate, they move forward and back, and like I said, they are softer rubber, so you can flex them a little bit. They don't hold the pose unless you push them against something, but they don't have wires or anything like the Hulk figure or something. She does have an upper diaphragm cut right up in here, so you can get that moving angularly, sideways, twisting, things like that. Her hips have, or her waist down here, you can rotate it. It's not a heck of a lot of range of motion because the suit does hamper some of it, but you can get some subtle poses with it. The hips move forward and back, but again, you can see the restriction in the pants. That's about as far as it's actually going. It does rotate. Well, you can move it in and out as well. It does rotate at the upper part of the thigh. She's got two bends here at the knee. I would anticipate the feet are what we're normally used to in terms of the ankles, but this boot is all one solid piece. Real good paint detail on here, though. I really like the variation of the grays and black that's used in here. You can see some really nice wrinkle effects down here as well, which looks really good. And they're not necessarily high heels, although they, well, I guess you'd call them wedges or something. I don't know what girls call these, but they are pretty stable. You just don't get any ankle articulation whatsoever. So it is unfortunate. It really kind of is. I mean, overall, I think that the figure is a good figure, and if you're a fan of Maria Hill, or if you're a fan of the Avengers or anything like that, she really has played a very, I guess, a large role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and she continues to do so. So I really think that it is a very good figure. I think that, like I said, it doesn't come with a heck of a lot of stuff, and that's kind of unfortunate, but it is one of those pieces where I think that it was one that I personally never thought that we would really get. And for a comparison, here she is next to, I guess, the old director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury. And you can see that, you know, size-wise, obviously, she's going to be a little bit smaller, but I think she works good. And like I said, she rounds out that collection for, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And while, like I said, she doesn't come with a heck of a lot, it is really cool that we're just getting her, period. I mean, as the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues to expand, her role in it seems to be expanding as well. So it's cool to have a figure for her with the rest of my Avengers and other Marvel Cinematic Universe figures. But if you are interested in picking her up, she's exclusively available here in North America at Sideshow Collectibles. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Sideshow where you can check out availability on her, as well as the rest of their Hot Toys and Sideshow figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.